An appeals court in Washington, D.C. is weighing arguments over the gag order issued in Donald Trump's 2020 federal election subversion case.
Attorneys for the former president and federal prosecutors faced off in front of a three-judge panel this morning. The gag order is currently on hold. It would prevent him, if it did go forward, as well as his lawyers, from disparaging court personnel and potential witnesses. Trump has argued that the gag order violates his constitutional rights. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Hey there, Scott. So, Trump's attorney said the gag order is an effort by Judge Chutkan to, quote, micromanage Trump's political speech. Obviously, all of this is happening with the backdrop of a political campaign. But just let's try and clear a bit of the noise. Walk us through what arguments we heard from the two parts, as well as from the federal prosecutors in court as they're trying to defend the action.
Yeah, perhaps it's no surprise this historic prosecution, the first ever criminal prosecution of a U.S. president, has given way to these historic arguments, whether there should be a gag order on what he can and can't say ahead of trial. And the irony is, an argument over a gag order went like 2 hours. There was a lot of talking. There was a lot of arguing. Here's the issue. The judge in this case, the local judge, has ordered Trump not to say anything that targets the prosecutor, the prosecutor's family, witnesses in the case, or the judge's staff. The appeals court made pretty clear through this lengthy argument today there's going to be a balance here, and they have some concerns about how to thread this needle. Should public, notorious witnesses, people who are blasting Trump, be allowed to be the subject of some of his speech? Should some members of the court staff actually be inoculated if the judge isn't? Should the special prosecutor himself be protected from Trump's blasting when the prosecutor's staff isn't? Lana and Tony, the judges made clear there may have to be some narrowing or some balancing into this gag order. But until they do, this is all on hold. They've paused the gag order till they rule.
Interesting stuff. There was an exchange where one of Mr. Trump's lawyers was asked if Donald Trump is above the law. I only saw this in a headline. I don't know what followed. So talk to me about what the answer was.
Yeah, I think the judges were really concerned about that. Why are we making this one criminal defendant a special case? Should he be allowed to say whatever he wants to say, even if he knows there's a potential witnesses or the subjects of his rants could be targeted accordingly? What the attorney for Donald Trump said was there's already criminal law protecting against speech that threatens. We don't have to add a gag order on top of it and make Donald Trump's life harder. The judges pushed back also, Tony and Lana, on the special counsel, saying if he's on the stump and other candidates are blasting him or these witnesses are targeting Trump, he may be able to respond. It's going to take some days, if not weeks, for them to rule on this. But until they do, that gag order is lifted and Trump can say whatever he wants that he thinks is legal about these witnesses.
All right. Scott MacFarlane, you're reporting always enlightening. Thank you very much.